If you live in the Atlanta area, chances are you or someone you know has purchased a vehicle from Jim Ellis Automotive. As Atlanta's largest family-owned and operated dealership group, Jim Ellis operates 21 successful dealerships representing 17 automotive brands and employs more than 1,500 people. During the last 50 years, we've sold and serviced millions of vehicles and donated tens of millions of dollars to local charities. It's a seemingly impossible success story, given the organization's humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings is not new to Mr. Ellis. He started at a very humble place with his family. His dad worked for the Atlanta prison farm as a guard, and so he didn't have a lot of income, and his mother worked in one of the factories at General Motors at the time, and so they didn't have a lot of money, but and I can remember Mr. Ellis telling about having at one point a dirt floor in their East Atlanta home. But Dad worked a lot of different part-time and odd jobs as he was growing up because he had to. Had to help the family pay the bills and get himself through school.
Well, I met Jim in 1964. I interviewed him for a job with Chris Motors. I interviewed him in a Huddle House or a Waffle House, I'm not sure which. His background really interested me. He had a background where he had worked as a salesperson selling fire insurance, door to door. That's got to be a tough sale. So that kind of interested me. He had a lot of competitiveness. He'd played football in high school and college. That competitive drive is good in any business, particularly in the car business. We started chatting and exchanging ideas and thoughts. I became interested, very interested in him. And from there, I offered him a job and he joined the company.
Jim Ellis quickly found success in the automotive business, and it didn't take long for him to set his sights on opening his own dealership. In 1971, he and his wife Billy took the biggest financial plunge of their lives to begin Jim Ellis Volkswagen.
He took a big risk. You know, he didn't have the money, so he had to borrow a lot of the money and cash in savings. My grandmother's retirement, I believe, from Georgia Tech. So to put all that on the line and not have a backstop if it doesn't go the way you want, it's a huge risk.
A hard-working man, never took anything for granted, was always willing to take a risk and make a sacrifice.
Starting from scratch with a new store, I think anyone would say is a challenge. His first full month in business, he showed a profit. That hadn't been done before. It was a gamble that paid off in huge dividends, but I didn't have any doubt that it would turn out that way.
Jim Ellis' leadership and faith-based values had an immediate impact on the success of the business.
His philosophy was treat our employees like family. Treat them with respect, but expect to work and work hard to make sure that our customers were treated like family too. And if we did that well enough, then we would create loyalty, both employee loyalty and customer loyalty, that would last a lifetime.
I worked for Mr. Ellis for many years, and he's been a wonderful man to work for. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I'm still here. I'm thankful for that.
I've been Jim Ellis for 40 years, and this is the only dealership I've ever worked at. When I first started here, Mr. Ellis, he made me feel welcome, felt like it was my family. He actually, he scared the fool out of me one time. He brought me into his office, and when a big manager or owner brings you to his office, he's like, I was like, oh Lord, I'm fixing to get fired for sure. He actually had a gift for me and my wife. He couldn't make it to our wedding, and so he brought us a gift for that. And he always said, James, you know, if you ever have a problem here, we have an open door policy. So don't ever leave without talking to me. And I was like, yes, sir. So I've been here ever since.
When my mom passed away, it was in December, and it was Mr. Ellis's birthday in January. And you know, Mr. Ellis's personal assistant, now Jimmy's kept calling me upstairs, going to have some cake. I said, I don't want to come up here. And she says, you need to come upstairs. The next thing I know, you know, Mr. Ellis come put his arm around me and told me that, Phil, I know it's hard on you right now. You know, my mom passed away from Alzheimer's, and he said, but we're going to get through this. Not I, but we'll get through this. And he put his arm around me and hugged me that day in the showroom. And here's a man on his own birthday. and he's worried about what's going on in my personal life. It's just wonderful knowing that you have a man that truly cares not about just employees, but about their family too, and that's huge in this day and time.
People really care about each other in this company, and I think it really starts there because that comes right from the top, comes all the way from Mr. Ellis himself. You know, always felt from day one that he really truly cares about his employees. You know, that philosophy has just grown, and you know, there are so many things that I could say that make this place such a wonderful place to work.
Mr. Ellis always, with all his employees, he pressed out to them and said, look, we're a team. You got sales, and you can't do it without service. Service can't do it without parts. We can't do it without the cleanup in the back. And then we need the body shop. It had been teamwork all along.
And every year I'm amazed that somebody else has made a milestone of 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years with one company. They will start and end with us. And then we have, you know, employees who are 2 generations deep now. Their children work here, and maybe their children will come and work here.
Jim and I and 2 other Volkswagen dealers were playing golf. And it started to rain, and we had to cut the golf and went inside. We started playing Jim. And Jim had never played Jim before. And that day he lost. That's the last time I ever saw Jim Ellis lose at Jim, because he learned how to play. He never liked being in second place.
On a trip, she had Mr. Ellis in a store, and she had him to try on a full-length fur coat. And she got back, and she framed that picture. And down at the bottom, she put on a little plate, Mr. President. And she hung that in the customer lounge. So when Mr. Ellis came in and saw that, he told me, he said, Dwight, take that down. So I took it down, and I put it in the closet. And then Billy came by. Where's my picture? Go get that picture. Hang that picture back up. And I did. And she said, Jim Ellis just thinks he runs this dealership.
Jim Ellis' core value of treating people like family extended beyond respecting employees. It was equally important to treat customers like family.
We decided a few years ago that while we have these pillars and foundations, and we talk about it with our employees, and a lot of it's even lined out in our mission statement and our focus and our handbooks, and while we hope our actions had always shown these pillars to our customers, we never really talked about them out loud with the customers and our clients. So we decided a few years ago that was kind of our go-to. Like, let's remind you why we're different and why you're special to us. That we're going to remember your name. We're going to recognize your face. We're going to smile. We're going to greet you promptly. All those good things that we've always talked about. This is what happens. This is why we're special and why we're different and why we've been able to sustain so long and continue to grow.
Taking care of the customers correctly, the actual vision of it's easy. You just do the right thing, be transparent with them, and then do what you're going to tell them, and do it efficiently at a fair price. So that vision part's easy. The execution is hard, but when your employees are good people and trained right and happy and motivated, it's a lot easier to execute.
I think the values as he started it are still the same today. We still treat people like family. We still try to respect people's time, exceed expectations. Those are just trademarks of what was and what remains today.
Customer satisfaction was always his purpose. I want my customer satisfied, because without the customer, we're nothing.
Thanks to core values established by Jim Ellis, the organization has enjoyed unprecedented expansion over the past 50 years. What started as a single dealership with a handful of employees has now grown to become Atlanta's largest family-owned and operated dealership group.
Not only did he teach and train me and a lot of others, but he also did with his son, Jimmy. And I think Jimmy had a large appetite for expansion. He, I think, is responsible for the growth and where the volume of stores is today.
With growth and expansion came countless awards and accolades for Jim Ellis at his dealerships. Jim Ellis quickly became the gold standard that other dealerships strive to emulate.
We were the number one selling dealer for Volkswagen for 12 years running, and then a couple of years later we turned around and we're the number one Audi retailer in the nation. Those are pretty cool milestones.
Jim Ellis Automotive Group has won the Consumer's Choice Award 17 years in a row. It's a business seal of excellence selected by real consumers, not a panel of judges. Jim Ellis was selected as a 1989 Time Magazine Quality Dealer Award nominee, 1989 Sports Illustrated Dealer of Distinction, and many more. Today, as we celebrate our 50 years, we have over 1,500 employees. We sold over 750,000 vehicles, and we serviced over 4 million.
Jim has done something in Atlanta that no other car dealer has done. That is a tremendous accomplishment.
Jim and Billy believed in giving back. That belief has been carried on from generation to generation and become part of the Jim Ellis Automotive Group DNA.
That was the core of my grandfather is, you do things to help those around you. He helped those around him when he didn't necessarily have the means to help those around him.
We got to give back to the community because that's where our customers come from, is this community. And if the community is not thriving and supported, we don't have a customer base to work with.
The Jim Ellis Foundation was created to support women and children in need, which gives millions of dollars to local charities. The annual Jim Ellis Golf Tournament raises $100,000 each year. And through the years, Jim Ellis Automotive has helped hundreds of organizations and donated over $50 million.
And you do it not because you have to, it's because you want to.
In an effort to make sure customers can expect the best, Jim Ellis continues to develop modern shopping experiences and service options that meet and exceed today's customer expectations.
Just the way the business is changing, where it's becoming more transparent. We're trying to be at the forefront of that, where we're giving customers more options and easier way to do business. Like we'll deliver the car to their house, pick their car up for service. So that new business trend is exciting, and us making a commitment to be on the front leading edge of that is exciting.
I think what's really exciting about the Jim Ellis Automotive dealerships and the Jim Ellis family is that they are very adaptable and they are very ready and they are very eager and determined to not just go with the flow and make the changes that are necessary, but to actually be a part of the makeup of the future of automotive.
The future of Jim Ellis is extremely bright, because we have a team of executives that will be guiding our future, and they are ones that have been here and they have been immersed in our culture. They understand clearly who Jim Ellis is, what makes us different, what makes us special. It's all about treating people with respect, like members of the family, and then creating employee loyalty and client loyalty that lasts a lifetime.
His children, grandchildren, they carry on the same flame or the same standard of principles.
So it's just amazing. I'm excited to see what the future holds for our employees and the generations to come.
As we look to the future, we take this moment to celebrate our past and to celebrate everyone who has played a part along the way. We are truly blessed and humbled by all the support and sincerely thank you for being a part of our story.
Thanks to Mr. Ellis for all the years, the great memories, and to thank him for everything he did for me.
Okay, Mr. Ellis, it's been a pleasure all these years that I worked for you, and I really appreciate all the wonderful things you did for me and all your employees and the community.
What he's done, how he's done it, with the integrity and the great name of the Jim Ellis family has been wonderful to see.
The reason we perform well with all of our different dealerships, even today, is that we have that same philosophy and that we expect to be the best, and how we get there is through our people and with our culture and who we are, and making sure that our customers understand that at a Jim Ellis dealership, they truly can expect the best.